On tonight's episode,
a list of attendees to Peter Thiel's little private party. U.S. Secretary of Treasury Scott Bessent, Tulsi Gabbard, Donald Trump's son-in-law, Estonia's prime minister. All of our ideas are just give me your money. Oh, you're a survivor and you need help? Just give me your money. And you really are a demon. Welcome everybody to an episode of Pictures Politics. I'm your host, Dougie. This is episode 59 of season 3. And this episode will center around a lot of interesting news that dropped this week that I missed because I was covering the UK grooming gang file drop. With the headliner, of course, being a list of attendees to Peter Thiel's little private party or club or whatever that's been going on for over 20 years, I believe. We have some very interesting names on the list, some interesting origins of the club, cult, whatever you want to call it. And yeah, then we'll transition into some smaller news and we'll wrap up with some thoughts on the stuff going on in the UK because I was just my my feed thinks I'm British and it's feeding me a lot, and it just does not look good. It does not look like what I would like to see. So I will finalize on that, but we'll begin. So there's this hacker who I don't know how, but through a data breach, he managed to intercept some of Peter Thiel's private messaging, or I guess is a website that they use for this club. And this guy managed to get in, or girl, and they leaked the list for us. They leaked the list of names. They leaked the topics for discussion, which are very weird. And overall, you will see a lot of familiar names on this list. You will see a lot of interesting names of people we have exposed on this show accidentally. Just kind of, oh, that's a weird thing this person said. You will see enemies, so self-proclaimed enemies on this list, public enemies. A lot of U.S. officials, of course, a lot of billionaires, and yeah, I believe it's over 200 people. And we also have a Voldemort email attached to this story. So yeah, I mean, we'll just start immediately. But at the top, we have Peter Thiel. You don't know who Peter Thiel is. He is is the co-founder of Palantir, but he he's his name has been attached to projects long before Palantir, and Palantir is this massive AI drone data bank, data processing service that is mostly funded, I think, by the U.S. government at this point. They were going to be put in a lot of systems in the EU. A lot of those projects have been canceled. I haven't really looked into it. They announced they're canceled. You never really know, right? But I'll take their word for it, just based on some of the other news. And I mean, basically, police drones, military drones, AI surveillance. Peter Thiel's or Palantir's attached to that. Peter Thiel also helped fund Facebook and work on Facebook. He also, I believe, he's actually in the movie The Social Network. So it's not a hidden thing. He was also on the PayPal, or in the PayPal Mafia Club. So him and Elon are really close. He's helped fund a lot of Elon's projects and companies. He was also on something else. I think he helps fund one of my favorite billionaires. Not that it's good to have one. Palmer Lucky's military company, whose name I'm just forgetting. One sec. Need coffee. But yeah, so I mean, this guy. Anyways, the point is, this guy's attached to a lot of big projects. He mostly funds them. I don't know where he got his money before he started funding them. I haven't really looked into it, but he's a lizard person. Okay, I mean, I hate to jump into it right away, but he's He's been a puppet for a while. Him and Voldemort have been close. We've exposed him quite a few times on the show. If you've watched the show, the name is not unfamiliar with you. Him and you know who were pretty close. I don't know if they were, doing what together, the other stuff. But I do know when it came to moving money, projects, and companies, these two were close. Voldemort and him were pretty close. As a matter of fact, they were close enough that Voldemort was very sure he could get the ex Prime Minister of Israel a job on like Palantir's CEO board. So connections are there. He's all in the files. We're actually going to read one today. But yeah, he's obviously atop the list. We have the U.S. Secretary of Treasury, Scott Bessent, who I hate this guy. Ted Cruz, he's the senator from Texas. Cory Booker, another senator from New Jersey. Tulsi Gabbard, who is the, former DNI. She just had her last day recently and dropped a pretty big file dump of her own that we'll probably look into next week. But, I mean, already kind of interesting that a billionaire, a club being hosted by a billionaire, and most of the top people on the list here are U.S. Politicians and people in the administration. Very obvious one, Jared Kushner. Now, his roots run deep, straight to the homeland. He's got a lot of connections to a foreign intelligence agency, former senior White House advisor, now special envoy. He is Donald Trump's son-in-law, and yeah, he is very involved with a foreign country. Dan Driscoll, U.S. Army Secretary. Alex Grinkowicz, NATO Supreme Allied Commander of Europe. Okay, nice. Jim Himes, he is another representative from Connecticut. Another dude from Palantir on here. Eric Schmidt, former CEO of Google and Alphabet. So, I would imagine, again, these meetings have been going on for 20 years at least. Elon Musk, of course, himself is on here. Henry Kravitz, KKR co-founder. I don't know what that is. Larry Summers. Larry Summers. Larry Summers also had extremely close connections with Voldemort. Extremely close. Very, very close. Very big guy there. Very big connection. Former U.S. Treasury Secretary, ex Harvard president. I'm surprised they feel okay with attaching his name. Chamath Palihapitiya, social capital founder. That's a venture firm. We have, I don't know, president for Americans Tax Reform, Grover Norquist. I don't know, another politician. It sounds like CEO, former State Department Policy Planning Director Anne Marie Slaughter, Gary Kasparov, opposition activist, former world chess champion. Interesting invite there. A couple professors, a pastor, best-selling author, former U.S. special counsel, so a lot of politicians. Estonia's prime minister is on here. Kaja Kallas. So foreign leaders are on here too. The governor of Maryland, Westmore. Saudi ambassador Rima El Sud. Sophia Bush. I wonder if relation to, the Bushes. Peter Gotler, president, Cato Institute. We have the CEO of the Anti-Defamation League, Sarah Bond, who is the former president of Xbox. Scott Cook, another rich person. Google global vice president. Josh Brolin, who was an actor, he voiced Thanos, probably his most famous role. Shmuel Abramson, chief economist. Israel minister of finance. Okay. Brian Johnson, tech entrepreneur, longevity biohacking figure. Never heard of him. But to be honest with you, if you want an easy stock invest, I'd go and look up whatever the fuck that guy is doing. Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Now, that name is hilarious. Another actor. You'd probably know him from Fuck, what's the movie with time? The time movie. Sorry, the dream movie. Inception. But he's been in a bunch of others. Funny enough, he did. I don't. I don't know what to call it, but he went on stage with a bunch of senators and politicians, and he really wanted U.S. lawmakers to end a law that protected anonymity online, mostly in the name of anti-Semitism. Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and of course, he is here on this list. I guess it shouldn't be all that surprising. Tulsi, there being so I have the extended list, but those are obviously some of the most notable names. I believe it's over 200. So let's see, we got a lot of guys, a lot of rich people, a lot of rich people. Let's see if we can't skim it quickly. So I read most of these. There were some extremely interesting. Oh, we have Caroline Cochran, co-founder and CEO of Oklo, which is a nuclear company. Matt Clifford, Prime Minister's advisor on AI opportunities, UK government. I mean, you guys kind of get it. All right, it's a lot of rich people. Sophia Bush, who was on here, One Tree Hill actress. Some of these people are probably for show, for like, oh, look, it's that chick. We have the president and CEO of Roblox on here. We have the secretary for U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. OpenAI co-founder and president Greg Brockman. I don't know if I want to sit here and read all of these. I'll tell you that much. But Scott Belsky from A24 Films is on here. He's the former chief strategy officer and chief product officer for Adobe. Founder Behance. Wow, didn't actually know that. We have the Minister of Intelligence from Saudi Arabia, Turkey Alfasal AI Al Saad. I don't know, guys. Tough names. We have the CEO from Chipotle. Just a lot of CEOs. Like I said, Joseph Gordon-Levitt is on here. And Sam Harris was one that I thought was funny. He's another one in the files. And I got a lot of heat for bringing that guy's name up in the files. I don't know why. All I did was expose his name. But here he is once again. Again, there's a lot of crossover that I think is extremely interesting. The club lives on, basically. The club lives on. Rob Hur, former special counsel, U.S. Department of Justice. Again, there's a lot of co-founder and CTO of Duolingo is on here. There's a lot of crossover for people that you really wouldn't want to be working together. Atul Gawande, author, Being Mortal, The Checklist Manifesto, former assistant minister for global health, USAID. But again, these are a lot of billionaires. Billionaires aren't always known for being the cleanest of people, and yet there's a lot of U.S. officials on this list. And anyone from the U.S. Department of Justice, which should be used to go after corrupt billionaires and break up monopolies, bad practices that inhibit the free market. And yet, here he is hanging out with a bunch of them. They're all his friends. And so I would argue that this list is an immediate conflict of interest for quite a few people. The CEO of YouTube is on here. CEO of Novartis. Let's see. Galaxy Digital. Just a lot of rich people, man. I might be all the rich people on this list. Former chairman of Goldman Sachs. Okay. This is the host of a show. The staff secretary and assistant to the president. Jesus, man. I mean, former president and CEO of PayPal, Dan Schulman. Just rich people. Lots of rich people. Board director for Meta. Oh, he will a lot of influence. And here's an opinion columnist, associate editor of the New York Times, Pulitzer Prize, Interesting that this guy's probably been a part of the club for quite a while and hasn't written anything on it. Maybe he has. I just doubt it without looking it up. Just trying to see if there's any more notable names, but I think that might be all of them. Benj Pasek, who is the songwriter and producer for La La Land, Greatest Showman. Obviously, a big name in that field. Yeah, founder and CEO of Grok, spelled with a Q at the end instead of a K. I wonder if that means anything or is anything. Another columnist. Oh, here's one from Japan. Digital Minister, former Minister of Defense from Japan, current Digital Minister, Taro Kono. A lot of world uh, people from other governments here, which, again, I would argue is pretty much a conflict of interest for you guys. Here is. Oh, yeah, okay, I already read that one. CEO, New America Professor, Princeton, former Director of Policy Planning, U.S. Department of State. So many politicians. Here's another one from Kuwaiti, CEO, Petroleum Corporation. Yeah. All right, let's see. It's a lot of names, guys. And the last is the director for Neuralink, Strauss Zelnick, who is the CEO of Take Two Interactive Software, which Interactive Software. I don't know if that's the guy who does the video games. Or it's an entirely different. It's just a coincidence that the name. I could be wrong. Rick Warren, who is a podcast host. Maybe you guys know him. Another author, Tim Urban. Okay. Tom Tugendhat, member of parliament for the UK. Yeah. Okay. So, I think that might actually be all of the names. I think the hacker managed to get all of the names. But yeah, there's a lot of conflict of interest in the list. How is it that there are billionaires, again, who are corrupt and it's their job to try and make as much money as possible? How is it that so many, not just US officials, but UK parliament officials, there's a minister from Japan on there, member of Japan's government, literal prime minister for Estonia is on there? How is that legal? How is that okay? The DOJ should look into that. Oh wait, the DOJ is on the list. Might be a little busy. And we also have like the club topics, which I think is kind of funny. They're interesting. I think it's kind of a show. They don't, they're like probably code for what they would actually be talking about. But again, the club goes on. They're still meeting in private. They're still plotting, the world agenda. It's still happening. Hasn't changed. It never will. And again, sort of the Voldemort mantle has been passed along to Peter Thiel, who was involved with Voldemort for quite a while, for a long time. He went on the Joe Rogan show and he said that he didn't know him. He's like, I don't know what this guy does. From my understanding, he's a tax lawyer. Yeah, okay, buddy, sure. You are holding hands with the fucking guy. You've taken over his club. So this is the list of some of the topics. Does money buy happiness? Bring back nuclear. So a lot of the tech guys are really big on bringing back, well, about pushing nuclear power forward. It's the only way to power AI. It's really the only way to power the future. It is what it is. Whether you're okay with it or not, that's just kind of, what's going to happen. Which is probably why the Prime Minister of Estonia is on there. Eastern Europe is a hotbed right now for kind of U.S. tech experiments, one of which is nuclear. Navigating World War III, which I suppose is probably the most interesting on this list. Why would all of these rich and famous and public officials need to learn how to navigate World War III? Basically, haven't even just given up. It's just gonna happen. I'll drink my coffee here. Please ignore the silence. Don't mind the silence. But it's on there. Navigating World War III. It's coming. They're not trying to hide it. They're trying to plan for it. How's your sex life? I don't know what that's about. That sounds like some fucking classic Voldemort shit. Weird ass question. Like, what in the world could that possibly be about? Also, just FYI, the one of the topics was like how to build a cult. Like that was just on there. Moderated by the founder of the Christian networking site Pray.com. Don't know him. That's a crazy fucking name for your speech though. And I have of course, the file that I was talking about earlier. Well, one of them. Again, he's involved in a lot, but this is Peter Thiel, and almost said his name. I'm gonna get myself shadow banned again. Voldemort, and this is from him to him. Peter Thiel loved the secret society idea. He has done a lot of work on the concept. All failed so far. Yeah, that's because he's a fucking lizard person. And this person's reply was, let's do it. So this was in 2016. It's been going on for a while. Yeah, and there are a lot of connecting these files together to figure out, you know, who's all in it. But again, I don't know. It's leaked. It's there. I don't think this has to do with the other stuff that was in the files. I could be wrong. You never really know. But again, it's extremely interesting that Tulsi's name is on there. Tulsi is the one who's supposed to be advising the president on intelligence gathering. She collects data from the CIA and the FBI, and then she presents that information, or the most important parts of that information, to the president himself. And how are we to say that she's not compromised if she's sitting there and she's meeting with these billionaires or anyone from the DOJ? Of course they are. Of course they are. I'm trying to find. Oh, here's the other leaked topics. It's fun to be in charge. Sorry. Oh my goodness. Blake Hall is on that list, co-founder and CEO of ID.me. Uh, huh. Money. Does it buy happiness? Bring back nuclear, navigating World War III. Battlefield technologies. Democracy under surveillance. I wonder if that's supposed to be pro or for. I mean, the guess is probably pretty easy. Together, this is the article from The Wired. 6 members of the PayPal mafia, 2 U.S. senators, 6 members, yeah, a former Middle Eastern chief of intelligence, and sitting ambassador to the U.S. Yeah, we know who that is. Along with many founders and directors at many of the country's largest surveillance, data broker, and advertising data companies. So it doesn't look like they actually know why. Yeah, what the meaning behind these topics would be, whether they're good or bad. I imagine it's bad. Obviously, a bunch of fucking people who make surveillance technology are probably very pro for it. Democracy under surveillance. Amazing, truly amazing. Way to hide it. Disinformation and deepfakes. Again, something tells me that's not about fighting disinformation and deepfakes. It's probably about promoting it. It's fun to be in charge. I love that one, honestly. Respect. I fucking love that one. Yeah. Jonathan Soros. It's that that's Soros' son. So, Elon and I don't know about Peter Thiel, but a lot of those government officials, Ted Cruz is an easy one. They're always like, "Oh, that fucking Soros family, they fund the protests." But you're more than willing to go and shake hands with him at a party. Okay, nice. There's a lot of journalists on here. Alex Scattle, founder and CEO of Independent Journal Review. My guess is not as independent as you think it is. Big surprise. Yeah. I mean, you can see there's Palantir connected to just some of the worst people. Alex Karp, Nathan Gettings, Joe Lonsdale, Stephen Cohen, Henry Kissinger, evil guy, Peter Ackman, also evil. Yeah. Shouldn't be that surprising. But yeah, hey, God bless the leaker. I respect that. It I think we've kind of re-entered the age where hackers are cool again. Most of them had been co-opted and taken over, and you know what? They're back. I believe they're trans, not that it matters, but hey, respect to do it during this month. Okay, I think we're gonna move on to the next topic. Speaking of AI and surveillance, we have here in my hometown. Sorry, this is not the one. Here in my hometown, I won't say. Well, I guess you'll find out now. Doxing myself. Not that one either. A lot of AI news too, guys. Sorry. It's this one here. Here in the state of Florida, Orlando has announced. This is directly from the police. Has announced that they will start using drones.
There was a time when technology like this only existed in movies. Officers accessing dangerous scenes, dispatching resources, and tracking suspects in seconds from the sky. But as threats change, the tools we use to fight crime evolve too. And today, a new technology is changing the way the Orlando Police Department responds to emergencies.
Now he's running. He's got eyes on the drone.
Meet OPD's Drone as a First Responder, or DFR program.
DFR's got eyes on a vehicle, northbound, Mellow Drive from Skeena Street.
DFR drones remain ready to launch from docking stations within seconds of certain 911 calls. No setup, no delay. Just real-time information when officers need it most. Already, our DFR drones have been used to track multiple stolen vehicles, like this one, taken during a home break-in. And this one, driven by a convicted felon who had fentanyl, meth, and a pistol inside the car.
Show me your hands, Orlando Police! Hands up!
DFR has also provided officers with critical information during drug operations, helping capture suspected dealers, even those who tried to run. And with the assistance of officers in our crime center, our DFR program has been used to locate suspects accused of violent crimes, like battery, aggravated assault, and even shootings.
Wait, let me hear that again. Hold on.
Battery, DFR program has been used to locate suspects accused of violent
Okay. Sorry.
and update the outcomes for the people we serve. Stay tuned over the next week as we show you more about this new technology
What?
and all the ways it's helping officers better protect you in the city of Orlando.
I don't understand why they would post this. Are they that unaware how much people hate this stuff? I'm gonna have a different take, to be honest with you guys. I think this technology in itself is inevitable. And, like, ultimately, well, I don't know about ultimately, but, there's a lot of good use for it. We should use technology to make our lives safer, easier, and better. It should be used to save lives, don't get me wrong. And ultimately, we were headed in this direction. Like, without a doubt. Unfortunately, it sucks that they end up using this technology for the wrong purposes. I'm watching it, and we just exposed a fucking cult of the people who make this stuff. Like back to back, I put this on the list, and I saw this pop up, and then later in the week, I see a fucking cult list pop up of the people who make this stuff. And it's like, it should be a good thing. Everybody wants criminals to get caught. Unfortunately, when you start sticking innocent people into the criminal category, and then you start sending an army of drones after them because they're anti-Semitic or some shit, then people don't get on board with it. If the government system, police system, even just here in my own state, was perfect, and they weren't currently knocking on people's doors for posts on Facebook or making, quote, really bad jokes, then no one would flinch. People would be like, this is cool. Yeah, you guys are only known for saving lives. You're only known for catching shitty people. Great. However, unfortunately, a lot of people are going to look at this and go, great, the robot army is here. It's going to kill us all. And of course, it's their own fault. On top of that, I'm curious what happened because DeSantis, the governor, said that we weren't going to have robots and drones, but I guess that never really fucking, translated into anything. He just lied. It shouldn't be that surprising, but again, I wouldn't advertise this. And it seems a lot simpler than it is. It shows it just like tracking the car. I mean, it is crazy that this little fucking robot, how small it is. And they were saying that it could, has thermal cameras. I mean, typically that's shit used only in the military, by the way, but it's got a thermal camera. I mean, I know police helicopters have thermal too, but now it's much cheaper. It was saying that it could identify license plates from that far out, which is insane. Yeah, look at that. It could see its license plate from here, from really high up. But what they didn't show, which I know this thing will have, is it will be able to look at your face, and even if it's just kind of scanning the area. I mean, these things will be everywhere. They'll be everywhere. They'll just be kind of running around, fucking scanning the parking lot, doing whatever. They'll scan your face, and it'll start with only people who are currently in the police database. But I'm sure it'll escalate because that always does. These things, this is what happens. It starts like this, and then it just escalates. And what's funny is these same people who implement these things. Again, I think mostly this is good. I'm really kind of harping on only the particular specific really bad instances, which do happen and should be highlighted. But in general, this was always where we were going, of course. But it'll start scanning your face, and it'll start with only people in criminal databases, right? Pretty normal. And then it'll start doing the general population, and you'll have a social credit score. We're like, oh, this person said something not so nice about politician A or politician B. And then the fucking thing will blow up in your face. I don't know. It's a lot of people are yapping here. Interesting times. The RoboCop era. Videos from our DFR drones is already making a difference in real cases involving stolen vehicles. Yeah, drones in my state, and specifically in my hometown here, this has been a thing for quite a while. They usually scan the highways, and if you're like going too fast, they would just like shine a bright light on your car and like make you slow down. But they've been around for a while. This is the next step. I mean, those drones were like the fucking Reaper drones. They were massive. These are obviously the quadcopters. They'll be everywhere. They'll be everywhere. Everywhere. Holy matrimony. Police state Batman. I mean, we had a cop on 3 years ago. A detective. I think it was 3 years ago. And he pretty much was already talking about this technology being cut somewhat mainstream. And I was already in shock. He was like, I mean, he basically spilled the beans for us. He was like, yeah, the drone would scan their cars and their faces and tell you all the information you needed, where they were going to be. Yeah, it was crazy. Future. Again, I think ultimately those things can be good, but when you have such a strict controlling surveillance state, I think you should also be offered the most amount of freedom. The more tools the government has, the more freedom you should have. Like, okay, well, if you got that, then pretty much everything in the Freedom Act just needs to go away, to be honest. Or, sorry, the Patriot Act needs to go away. I think it was 2 weeks ago, we covered Anthropic's Mythos AI, which is considered the most powerful, and it quote served as a major security risk, sorry, unquote, to pretty much everyone on the planet. Was basically how they said it. So it got released to the public, sort of as like a nerfed version. It was immediately pulled from the market within like 24 hours by the Trump administration. And this is Anthropic CEO Dario Amodi. He says testing Mythos companies testing Mythos warned it was a super weapon and said it should require a gun license. So shortly after I read that story, I said, yeah, you'll probably need a license to operate these AI. And yeah, big surprise, again, which, poof, that's sick shit. That's just sad. Honestly, of all the things that I expected, I somehow I didn't land with you needing a license to use AI. But it's genius for them. It's smart for them. It's a great way to track what everyone's doing all the time. I wonder if that'll apply to private models. So, that same week or the week before, PewDiePie, who, if you don't know who he is, you live under a rock, he was one of the most famous YouTubers on the planet. He kind of made it mainstream. And he retired, started a family in Japan, and he's kind of gone on this like weird journey of building an AI army in his own basement. And he released the model. And I'm gonna drink this coffee here. Give me a second. Don't mind the silence. He released his own models. I believe it's a combination, and they were actually operating at an extremely high level, better than some of the mainstream models. My question is, as far as I know, with the law, you don't need you wouldn't. It would be impossible for them to require you to need a license for building and operating those models, but it's not entirely impossible. The current government constantly just says it's a national security issue, and then fucking controls you. That's literally what they've done 24/7. It's a national security issue. Boom, they just take control and do whatever they want. So I can see them doing it. And most likely, as these models get stronger and stronger, you'll need a license to use them, a license to use AI. That's how it'll operate. Which again, it's a way to track what you're doing with them at all times. All right. Long time ago, we covered a story in which Sora, which is the video generating AI model for ChatGPT, or OpenAI, sorry, they said they were closing up shop and that Disney was closing a deal they had announced. Now, funny enough, my co host at the time said that he thought this meant that Disney was buying the model behind closed doors, which is extremely illegal, by the way. I think, pretty sure it's illegal. And recently, Disney put out this trailer. I don't know if we would get copyrighted for watching a trailer. I'm not going to play it just in case, actually. But I'll just show you some stills. I'll, drag through it. And this looks exactly like the videos that were being generated by Sora. Exactly like them. I believe this movie is about a witch. Some shit. It's called Hexed. And yeah, it looks the exact same. I think he may have been right. I think they may have bought the model off OpenAI. They probably bought it because they didn't want the competition. They didn't want people generating their own cartoons like this. God, Disney's such a scumbag company, man. The other thing people pointed out, if it's not, AI generated, but most people do think it is that all of the focus for this movie is center frame, which is another AI feature. AI fucking loves to do that. It's a common trope. It's how you can tell something's AI. You can see if you're only listening, all of the focus of everything that's going on is directly center frame. Which, if you haven't noticed, is kind of starting to become a little main feature in most movies because of their use of AI. where everything in the center is the focal point, and then everything on the sides is blurred. You can still kind of see it here, even in an animated movie. So the people are saying that this is either AI generated, probably is, or they did this intentionally, specifically so that it can be broken up into shorts, short form media, and put on like Instagram and TikTok for advertising. Honestly, the best way to tell if that's true is we'll have to wait till the movie comes out. But there's a specific way you paste your long form content. We did it on accidentally on the show, but you paste your long form content so that it can be broken up efficiently into short form content. But yeah, you may have been right. This may have been this may be completely generated by Sora, the AI model, video model made by OpenAI, sold behind closed doors, and they just didn't want you guys to know because they know how much hatred there is for AI generated content. I don't know. It's weird. Honestly, this makes me really sad because if it's not AI generated, if it's just the focal point is in the center specifically for the short form content, because the movie Mad Max, not, yeah, the movie Mad Max did this specific technique when it came to putting it together in which the flow of the content, the focal point, moves left to right. Instead of normally things kind of skip around and your eyes are darting back and forth, it moved left to right smoothly, and it actually made it extremely pleasant for your eyes. But this is like, super autist fucking focused, and I imagine it's probably also made for the ADHD crowd, but we'll see. I don't know. Very possible that it's just AI generated or specifically generated for short form media. It would be crazy. I don't know if that's illegal or not. All right, let's see what we have here. Oh yes, next week we'll talk about the Tulsi Gabbard report. I don't really want to talk about it this episode. It'll be too long. She dropped a bunch of files on Dr. Fauci and pretty much proved everything we know about COVID-19 and that it's a bioweapon. Fauci funded it. It's all there. It's all written out for everybody. However, people at this point don't care because he's not going to jail, so nobody gives a fuck. Like, why should anyone? Why should we care if you don't care about this guy who killed, I don't know. It's got to be hundreds of thousands of people, not millions. Anyways, that's an episode for next week. Here we have, I think I have two things on Riot Games. So a couple weeks ago, we covered Vanguard, Riot's little cheat monitoring software that shut down a bunch of computers if it found cheats. Well, here, I don't know, I can't confirm this or not, but basically, they have a new detection system for when people are trolling in their games.
Look at this bitch.
And you can see here,
Bro, like, this is...
the mid laner, if you don't have to play League, you're probably like, what the fuck? But one of the persons on this chick's team is trolling her, for fun, just fucking with her, ruining the game experience. It's extremely annoying. And all of a sudden, in the right corner over here, there's a disruptive behavior detected, like a surrender vote or whatever. And everyone can vote on it.
Oh my god, she got cancelled for...
This is probably in testing, is what's going on here. But, yeah.
Oh my god.
And so the game gets terminated. Disruptive behavior detected. If this is real, and I've been seeing a lot of stuff on Riot implementing some really cool features, like quality of health features for the game, quality of life they call it. That's massive. That's insane. And this is a small kind of
Bro, like, this is...
feature trolling. That could have that could have been anything. Could have just been like, oh, I need farm, and she's just retarded and fucked it up. That's what it could have been. I mean, she's clearly trolling. Don't get me wrong, but this could be skewed. However, the game knew it auto detected it, or maybe there's like a report system for it. I don't know, but it figured it out. So hey, you know what? Riot Games W. Although I think in this next clip I have to take it back if I remember correctly. Yeah. So I don't know. That's a great feature. However, so Riot clearly is unleashing their capabilities with Vanguard. Their I'm putting in quotes here, cheat detection system. And it's been available for a while, but I think now they're kind of using it using it a lot more than they were before. And so they've gone and banned this guy named Big Bad Bear, who is one of the biggest leakers for League of Legends. He would drop, the champions, the events, game updates ahead of time. He received a hardware ban. So that's definitely through Vanguard. And my guess, so how he usually finds these things is the game has updates that get dropped. I think it's like twice a month. And part of those updates are the framework for larger updates. So that it doesn't have to push them all at one time. And this guy would go through all the files and find these little things. So new champion names, new champion quotes, sometimes voice lines, skins, whatever. Because obviously there would be a placeholder within the files. My guess is if he wasn't just outright cheating, which I don't think he was, my guess is they used Vanguard to see how he was leaking the content and probably banned him for it. I'm willing to wager that's what's going on. I'm willing to bet that is what is going on, which is an insane use of this technology. It basically means they're actively admitting to openly spying on specific people, even when they're not cheating, to see what they're doing. And Vanguard has kernel access. It can see everything you're doing on your computer. It's all recorded. It knows. It can see. They were probably spying on this fucking guy. Seeing everything that he's doing. People he's messaging. This Vanguard, I uninstalled it pretty quickly. I don't play League anymore. I haven't in a while. But yeah, I thought that shit was funny. Riot is on a fucking tear, man. They are pissed. They are not happy. Alright, so that's the robot and AI stuff. It's the gaming news that I have. And we'll close up shop here with the UK stuff. It's not good. So if you're new, and this is your first episode of the day, and you don't know anything about the UK, what's going on there, they recently dropped an inquiry or report about the mass harming, tired of using the you-know-what word, mass harming of little children across the country over like 50 years, since the 50s. And part of the inquiry was that it found there was a correlation between ethnicity, culture, and religion, and to the crimes. Now, if you're in the UK, and you don't know anything about the UK, UK is super liberal. Whether that you like that or you don't, whatever. I'm just letting you know, it's a super liberal country or countries. And yeah, you know what comes with liberals and anything to do with race. It's not hard. So there's a lot of controversy about it. There's a lot of controversy in general in the UK over this stuff. But we have anyways, they dropped the file. It said that 250,000 children minimum have been hurt, most of which because of the migration, the open borders. Again, a lot of people don't like that, is what it is. I don't particularly care if you don't or you don't like it. It's just kind of within the stats. The stats in every country at the moment. It's still a problem here in America, and it was the main thing we voted on the last election. And we still think it's a problem. But it's a massive problem in the UK. It's a massive problem in the EU. I on the show, we've covered it a bunch. And at one point, it was like every day there was something where there's a migrant who just gets off for committing crimes. It happened again yesterday. Migrant. What did I call them migrants? It's so weird. uh, illegal. I don't hear what you call them illegal. Illegal sounds better. An illegal threw a toddler over a fence at a zoo into a crocodile pit. I think the child died. And the criminal who did it, the illegal, just gets to walk away free because they didn't understand the consequences. They were too stupid to sit through the interview. They just walked. They were just allowed to walk. It's a common story. It's one that I've seen a bunch. I've seen it in Norway. I've seen it in France. I've seen it in Germany. I've seen it all across Europe at this point. They tried to push it here in America. It didn't really work that well. Basically, like, the judges can do this thing where they let them out without bail or whatever, or like a really small bail, but that's kind of the extent. It is, some of them do get let go. It has happened here, don't get me wrong, but obviously it happens at a much more larger scale in Europe. And I don't, the problem I have with a lot of these Europeans, and I've spent a lot of time talking to them because when we talk about this stuff, it comes up, and we usually get a lot of very obvious, like, duh, they're on board, they understand. But there's also a lot of liberals who don't want to get it. And I just don't understand how you can be a liberal. If you want to defend these people, fine. But to openly deny that it's happening is insane. It's just there right in front of your face every single time. I've seen videos of it. And half of them, we posted a story on there, and we covered a story with the girl in the graveyard. She gets dragged in the graveyard. She's like 13. The vagrant. That's a great word for it. Violent migrant. The vagrant. I kind of like that. Might keep using it. The vagrant attacks her. Sorry. The vagrant part's funny. The attack is not. The vagrant attacks her. It's horrible. He does something even more awful after the attack. I don't know if it's more awful, but he insult to injury. Does something worse. And it was caught on video. Her getting dragged into the graveyard is caught on video. I couldn't find it, by the way. I had seen it. I think we've maybe shown it on the show at some point. I couldn't find it. It's been taken down. A lot of the videos get taken down of these vagrants doing attacks. But, like, they're just openly in denial about it happening. And part of it is the censorship. UK is heavily propagandized. It is what it is. I don't even argue with these people anymore. Just like, yeah, I mean, hey, bro, it sucks for you. Like, your brain is rotted. The guy's on there, and he's like, you should go read Sky News. And I'm like, it's crazy. And hopefully I can find the story on here. I just saw it right before I went live. But basically, it was being framed in a really interesting way. So, like, CNN, I think it was CNN here, which is an American news company, they wrote this story as, like, child ends up in crocodile pit and dies or something. It's like, the child didn't randomly fall into the pit. The poor thing was fucking thrown in by a vagrant. But even in America, they're still so soft on it. They don't want to say the truth, and I think they're probably just trying to bow to EU censorship laws. In EU, it's even worse. They don't want to say who did it. They just say man, throws child or whatever. But it happened. And again, if liberals really stood for what they say they stand for, their ideology, then it really wouldn't be an issue to expose who did it. But they don't. So they need to go into denial about it. That's what they do. And I can't stand, like, fighting with people in denial is so pointless. I don't know what to do. Like, okay, fine. That's what you want to believe. That's what you want to believe. The child fucking magically falls in. This guy gets arrested and they let go for fun. That's what you want to believe? Fine, fuck it. This poor little girl gets, R-worded in a graveyard by a mystical ghost. And if that's what you want to believe, then I can't help you. Your brain is damaged. But there's so many of them. And I feel so bad for the UK because I can't fucking stand these people. And, like, they're just all over your leadership. It's like, you guys have two politicians who are maybe not like that. That's it. And I'm curious for the UK as to kind of what the general sentiment is, not the liberals. I get what they think they're in fucking heaven. They're surrounded by migrants and they're like, this is great. We're so charitable. But for everybody else, because in America, I think the vibe for the last election was this is like the most important election. Democracy will die. Fascism will go crazy if we don't vote this way. The economy will explode. Like, there was such great urgency in the last election, and I'm curious if that feeling is the same for you guys, like, at all. Asmongold read the entire report live. I think it took him like 8 hours, some shit, maybe longer. Good for him. But other than him doing that, I don't really see that many people talking about it anymore already. Just the sad truth. And this is some of the news. I've seen this a lot, so I don't believe it. But Keir Starmer is reportedly preparing to resign, or he's debating resigning over the weekend. The prime minister. I doubt it, to be honest. I sincerely doubt it. I've seen this headline like 4 or 5 times. British Prime Minister Keir Starmer faces mounting pressure to resign following Andy Burnham's 54.8% win in Makerfield by-election, which Birmingham called a turning point in a path to Parliament. Months of turmoil include heavy local election losses, over 95 MPs demanding an exit plan, and resignation from Health Secretary Wes Streeting and Defense Secretary John Healey over welfare, defense, and scandals. Starmer insists on governing, but allies say he seeks a dignified exit. Prediction markets now give 53% odds he's gone by June 30th, as Burnham count MPs. Again, I've seen this type of headline quite a few times. I don't think it'll happen. But he should go. I'm not entirely sure his replacement would be even any better. Sorry. Just don't think it would be even better. It's such a liberal country. So yeah, this is from Sky News. Man arrested after toddler. Look how it's worded, guys. Man arrested after toddler ended up in crocodile enclosure. What? Man arrested after toddler ended up in crocodile. How did he end up in the crocodile enclosure? Like, only some accounts can reply. And I have liberals telling me that I should use Sky News as my main source of media for the UK. What a fucking joke. Round them up. Throw them into the pit, man. Man arrested after toddler ended up in crocodile enclosure. Are you fucking kidding me? That's how you word it? The child just randomly. I was kind of joking, to be honest with you. But yes, man ends up in the pit. Or sorry, child ends up in the pit. And they just randomly arrest the man. That's how it's worded. And of course the liberals read it verbatim and they take it literally, probably extremely confused. Not fit for interview and released. Yeah. I mean, that's it. That's the epitome right there. That's the epitome of what I see from liberal media, liberal news, liberal parliament. Liberal. I hate being red versus blue, but you know what? Sometimes it's like that. The same thing for the old Voldemort files against the Reds. Just is what it is, man. People only care when it fits their narrative, and they don't care otherwise. Not everyone. Not you guys. You guys are great. And unfortunately, again, in the end, the people who get hurt is the children. That's what happens. It's just the children who get hurt. The migrant gets to walk free. The judge gets to fucking jerk themselves off over releasing the person. So do the cops. And the only person that pays the price is the parents and the poor baby who got thrown in the pit. And the liberals all fucking also circle jerk each other to being surrounded by diversity or whatever the fuck they care about. This is part of the first story. Peter Thiel, dear Lisa, you are invited to join us at Dialogue 2014. So it's about when it had started, I think. A 2-day bipartisan retreat discussing how to change the world. There will be no speeches, just many moderated breakout discussions of 6 to 15 people on various topics. And we design the agenda around your ideas and needs. Please let us know if you'd like to join Peter Thiel and Orrin Hoffman. P.S. And yes, we know Dialogue 2014 is 16 months away, but we are giving you a chance to sign up now. Details. You're invited to join us, 150 people to change the world, so I think the number is now 200, whatever. A participatory and entrepreneurial conversation on changing the world. We limit discussions to only 150 global leaders who have an impact now and emerging leaders who can help implement the plans we develop. And here's the name list. This is the list of names for the people who attended. And if you're only listening, it's just a massive black rectangle or square over all of the names. The invite is only for Lisa Randall and is not transferable as we are only up to 150 participants. There are no sponsors. We increased the retreat fee weekly to reward people that sign up early, and this retreat is 100% off the record. Nice! How awesome is that? How fantastic is that? So, this is from Lisa to Jeffrey. You know who. Is this worthwhile? Damn, so Lisa gets the invite. That's so funny. Lisa gets the invite, and then she immediately goes to Voldemort and is like, hey, should I go to this? Oh my god. He's like, yeah, duh, I go there every week. Peter Thiel's my buddy. We're fucking bunk buddies. Who do you think funds this shit? Oh my god, man. So ridiculous. Yeah. Here they are reporting on it. The police of the UK have released on bail the man unidentified. Yeah, okay, I mean, you know, you're the only people who don't know who it is our legals. Sorry, our liberals. It's a migrant who threw a 3-year-old child in a crocodile enclosure. The child is still fighting for his life. Well, I fucking pray they live, man. I really do. According to reports, he was released for being deemed unfit, a story that is all too common. If he's unfit, then why is he there? The UK is an open-air madhouse. Yep, unfortunately, again, the only people who pay the price are innocent children. That's it. It's just innocent children. This is an unfortunate truth. I try telling them that, and they just don't care. And unfortunately, even when the children that are getting hurt, the people who get hurt, are related to these guys, doesn't even matter. They don't care either. They also, like, their biggest priority is not being labeled a racist. The man who adopted and R-worded me as a child and who did the same to dozens of other children is being considered for early release. He was sentenced to 35 years in 2017 and described as one of the most dangerous men in the UK. He was later convicted. His brother is also being considered for release. Yeah, they will be. I just read a story about some of these other people who were released. I'm just going to put the picture up. Usual suspects. I hate using these terms, but I mean, I don't know. Some of these jokes just write themselves, man. I think we're ending the show here. I wanted it to be short. I'll get my final thoughts. I'll just sit here and yap with you guys for a little bit. Hold on. I got one more. Oh, no, I know what that is. Okay. Final thoughts. And then I'll call it. Yeah. So, if you're someone who sees all this and you're in the UK, you're in Europe, and you don't feel like you can say anything, that sucks. I think America has already gone through that. We kind of know how it felt. I did talk about it last episode. We called ourselves the silent majority. A lot of this, even theoretically, is just based in common sense, which again I've talked about a few times. If you bring over people who culturally it's accepted to harm children and just be violent, then yeah, they're gonna do that in your own country, and then to deem them unfit and to let them keep running around. I mean, man, I don't know. Part of me thinks it's intentional. They just don't care. It's malicious. But either way, they have. I see this word suicidal empathy get thrown around a lot from these people. They go, we should. Suicidal empathy is the death of a civilization. Blah blah blah. These people care so much about these poor people that they're willing to let them do whatever. And then the people who know this, who know about suicidal empathy and apply it to the liberals, I always look at it as funny because the people who see the liberals like that are also suicidally empathetic because their family members, their friends are like this, and they don't say anything because they know that these people are doing it out of good nature, and so they don't say anything to them. They don't correct them. And talk a lot about the mind virus stuff. Suicidal empathy is also a fucking mind virus. It is. Because if you aren't willing to have that conversation with somebody who's empathetic, because you're also empathetic, it's like dominoes. And so nothing ever changes. You have to talk to these people to a certain extent, to as much as you can. Because I know they get violent, they go into like hard denial. Oh my god, they go into hard denial. It's sometimes impossible to communicate with them. I totally understand, but you have to make sure. Like, we need to kill the idea of suicidal empathy in general. No, bad. Okay, I don't care if it's malicious. I don't care if they're empathetic. It's just bad, 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 bad. We should hold them accountable. If you throw open your doors to a violent person, whether because you know they're going to be violent and you're happy about it, or you just kind of think you should be good natured, you're still responsible for whatever happens. Suicidal empathy is a lie. It's the next mind virus they're trying to push. It's a way to like alleviate yourself of the responsibility of what happens. Oh, fucking open the borders, let the people come over. Their violence, fuck it. Is what it is. They don't know any better. I'm not responsible. I'm doing the good thing. And then the other people who know it's a bad idea allow it to happen, and then they themselves go, oh, fuck it. It's not my responsibility. It's that guy's fault. I have empathy for that person who has empathy for that person. It's a domino mind virus is what it is. I fucking hate that term for this like abstract idea. It has to go. Stop. No more of it. It's a lie. All of it has to be considered malicious. It's the only way to end it. Otherwise, you end up with 250,000 children hurt. That's what happens. This just happened 5 minutes ago. Danish activist alleges mass police raid over social media posts. Probably true. On Friday morning, this is today, Danish activist and ex-police officer Lars Krag Andersen claims 8 to 10 masked officers illegally raided his Copenhagen apartment without knocking, seizing his cameras, and taking him to Bellahage station for fingerprints, photos, and DNA. He's suspicious centered on posting a favorite number. Wait, what? On a favorite number, possibly linked to hate speech symbols, and trying to interview Prime Minister Mette Frederiksen about surveillance plans. Released after nearly 7 hours, Anderson calls the arrest unlawful under Danish law, citing public evidence, no flight risk, and his history of activism against state overreach and prior convictions. Yeah, I mean, hey, you already you got me at hate speech. Hate speech isn't real. It's not a real thing. Favorite number. I wonder what that's talking about. Yeah, hate speech. Yep, not real. And yet, for some reason, both red people and blue people think it's necessary. I was in a police holding cell for a full 24 hours for defending myself from inbreds, while the inbred who threw a 3-year-old kid into a crocodile enclosure was out 12 hours. Yep. Yep, that's the world you live in. That is the world you live in, and again, I could do this all day long. All day long, guys. There's a news story. Every single day. An Iraqi refugee who sexually assaulted a 14-year-old girl has escaped with just 6 months jail after a Queensland judge took his visa issues into account and spared him a mandatory sentence. He is now unlikely to be deported. Yeah. I don't know. Again, all day long I could do this. Sorry, I was saying earlier, we used to cover this stuff on the show because it felt like news to us. We were reading these stories and we couldn't believe what the fuck was happening. We were surprised, and I kept feeling I had an entire section of notes just called like, migrants or some shit, and it was just like them committing crimes and getting away with it. But it started to fill up our show, and part of us were just desensitized to it. On top of that, it just didn't seem like you cared, and we were like, shit. And so we only started covering it on slow days. That's how often it happens. Every single day, I could fill a whole day of just scrolling, and there it is. And it's so funny. I catch some heat from the liberals about using Twitter, but what's funny with Twitter is they use videos. I mean, here's a video of that guy getting raided. there's a video of the crocodile thing. Here's a picture of the woman, saving the child or whatever. Here's videos of the newscasters saying what's, saying what's happening. And when I go on like Threads or Reddit or any other, quote news platform, even news articles, like I just showed the Sky News one, they never use like photographic or video evidence ever. It's never on there. Like Threads is bare as fuck. I'm the only one posting on Threads with video evidence. So I'm like, I don't know. It's real. It's got the best community note system. It's the community note system is probably the most unbiased I've ever seen. And you can check for accuracy. It's all right there. So pretty good. But they don't like it. They don't like the evidence, of course. They never refute the evidence. They just say, "Oh, you use this as your news source. You should be using Sky News." It's like, all right, sure, buddy. Whatever you say. To be fair, again, 99% of the people who respond to the content understand what's going on. They're not idiots. They're well aware. They're more aware about what's going on than I am. They immediately go straight to the top. And they start saying some stuff like, okay. But it's just that it's that 1% that are just ruining it for everybody else. And again, it's the empathy that the other people have for the other people have empathy that I have the biggest problem with. Stop having empathy for those people. If they were ostracized, those people are sheep people. They're herd people. They move with the herd. And if you ostracize them for their beliefs, they would stop having them. They have no internal foundation for good and bad. They just do whatever the news is telling them to do. They do whatever the government's telling them to do. So in their book, they're good. You have to ostracize those people. It sucks. I don't ever really think you should be ostracizing with political beliefs, but it's the only way they actually learn their lesson, or at least confront them on it. First cousin marriages are already legal in the UK. The government under PM Starmer blocked a private member's bill to ban them rather than legalizing the practice. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Again, for us Americans, it's like it's just beating a dead horse because we've already gone through this problem. I feel like most of us were already kind of moving on past the racism thing. It still gets brought up, but it's dropped pretty quick. It's not entertaining for us anymore. If someone gets arrested for something, the race shouldn't matter. They should be punished and they should be let go just because they're too stupid to understand the results. If they're too stupid, they should be kicked out of the country. Send them to the UK. Listen, we'll take all of the UK conservatives. We'll send over all all our liberals. It'll be a good trade. We'll convince liberals, hey, they have free healthcare. Just swap. I don't see why we don't do shit like that. It'd be good for everybody. Oh, she closed down her website. That's funny. Apparently started after your video laughing at the report. What you failed to say is your website was not secure. You never put in proper safeguards for survivors. It appears you never registered with the ICO. You failed to put up any form of privacy policy or terms and conditions. You've also stated yourself before these attacks even started, the website was not secure. Oh. Yeah, this is about that Donna woman. I don't want to bully her too much. I've done 2 videos on her already. Sure, if I did more. This is smaller.
The organisation that I set up to support grooming gang survivors and also to investigate the grooming gangs. There is very little good support out there for survivors at the moment. A lot of them are very isolated. Obviously, they've been let down by the police, by social services. Often these are very traumatized people, and the mental health industry has often given them diagnoses that help the system to manage them rather than actually deal with their trauma or help them with their trauma.
How about we go with the source of the problem, which is migrants, and deport them? The end.
So there's very little out there for them. And so when I started looking at how we could investigate the grooming gangs, I quickly realised that we're going to have to set up some sort of support system of our own that would enable us to help these people as well as just do the investigation.
She charges the victims to then help provide financial support to the victims. And that was the first idea she came up with when she put this together. What a genius she is.
Investigations. So we are still looking at in-person groups, but survivors themselves were saying that actually a lot of survivors don't like to go out to go to groups. They would rather do it online. A lot of them are online a lot of the time.
You charge people for meeting up online? Man, you really are a fucking demon.
And they would rather have an online forum. So I created that on our website. The problem with that is that I've seen survivors create online spaces before, and extremely quickly those online spaces are infiltrated by people who are there to exploit them. So I needed to.
I wonder what kind of people they are. I wonder what kind of people they are. I wonder who would do such a thing. I have a couple ideas. I bet they vote a certain way. I bet they came from a certain place.
Create some sort of barrier to entry that would allow us to weed out anybody who was clearly not a survivor.
You're genius. I love how all of her ideas or solutions are just charge them. It's like all of her solutions to every problem is like, yeah, just give me your money. All of her ideas are just give me your money. Oh, you're a survivor and you need help? Just give me your money. Oh, you don't feel safe? This is what insanity is this, by the way? So these survivors are saying that they're trying to put support groups together on their own, and yet they can't because they're being infiltrated. It's already kind of weird. Like, how is it, even if you did just an online group, but it's your political affiliation that's like doing all the damaging here, for sure. I sincerely doubt the conservatives are going into these groups and doing the damage. Whatever, man. I can't. Again, I'm exhausted of this shit. I feel like in America we've already fought against this. We still have to deal with it. It's mostly dying. Thank God. Thank fucking God, man. God bless, dude. Of all the things that we can be thankful for from this administration, it's this dying for sure. The liberal movement's death is the best thing to happen for this country in a long time, I'd say.
To take advantage, essentially.
Right. So instead of the other people taking advantage, it's better that you take advantage of them.
Now, Wix, where my website is hosted, has a membership option. And in order to allow entry into groups only for members, you need to put in a little bit of a membership fee. So I set it at £5 because I wanted it to be low so that survivors could afford it. It's a one-off fee. It's not a recurring thing. But high enough that people who were there to exploit would sort of just...
£5? Bro, I'm gonna lose my fucking marbles, bro. £5 is enough to stop trolls from interrupting the group. Really? Really? I'm supposed to believe that. £5 is enough. So these people are willing to go to extreme efforts to seek out the support groups. I don't know, let's just use Discord as an example. I doubt it's what's being used. To infiltrate these online groups and troll them for fun. But they're totally not willing to to go through the $5 gatekeep. Shut the fuck up, bro. Who are like bro, if you're gonna lie, can you just do a better job, please? Can you just do a better job? Please just do better. At least make it entertaining. It's not entertaining. You're just an evil woman. You know, you're not even a funny type of evil. You're just evil.
Not worth their time. Okay, so £5.
Yeah, okay, bro. Whatever. It's not worth their time.
And that would allow us also then to see who was coming in and to make sure before they even got into the space that we were weeding out anybody who was not there.
Should I go and test this theory? How much do you want to bet I could get in with a gift card? How much do you want to bet I could get in with a MasterCard gift card? Yeah. And they're putting fucking signing up with names like Pipu Kaka, some bullshit address saying that they're from Mars. Like, come on, dude. You ain't weeding out anybody with your $5 things. You just want to rip people off. Shut the fuck up.
There's also a note there saying that if £5 is too much, we can waive it for the survivors. That's not a problem. Our in-person groups will be free. So that's the reason that there is a very small membership fee on the website. I have not taken any money for myself. I've actually spent thousands of pounds of my own money, of my own savings.
Yeah,
to
I'm
set up
sure.
this organisation.
I'm sure you're not paid by the
And
fucking
the whole
government too.
organisation is set up purely to support survivors and to find out what's actually going on with the grooming gangs and to hopefully bring an end to the whole thing.
You really need to figure out what's going on with the grooming gangs, unless a certain demographic gets exposed. Then you don't.
The problem with attacking me like this is that I'm actually, as I say, you're not really attacking me. You're attacking the survivors themselves.
I don't.
Because what I've had to do
Attacking
this
a
morning
predator
is
for
actually
the
to
survivors.
remove those online groups completely. The online space is clearly not safe. There's a
So what you're saying is your $5 entry fee didn't work? Like in the end, that's what you're saying? Your $5 entry fee didn't work. It didn't stop the people from getting through. The whole point was that it would stop bad people from getting through, and it didn't. Oh my god, man. Oh. Fucking fourth grade math is
of malicious
harder
people out there who are
to get through than this
quite
bitch.
vocal online at attacking, as I've discovered in the last few days. And I don't feel that I can actually responsibly say that we can keep that online space in any way safe.
Yeah, that's because you suck. You're trash. You had a little survivor group, and you sat there and you jerked yourself off online. You wanted everyone to watch you do it, and so they did. And you're in the spotlight, and you like the spotlight so much you chose that over helping people. That's what you did. It's very obvious. It's not. There's nothing hidden here. People are seeing you for who you are, and you don't like it. It has nothing to do with, to be honest, what little assistance you're giving survivors, I imagine, but whatever.
So I have taken it off the site, and as a result, the membership fee is also gone. But so too is any online forum specifically for survivors. So in attempting to tell me what a terrible person I am for not caring about survivors, these people have actually literally removed a space that was dedicated to supporting survivors.
Do you not know the definition of literal? Literally? You don't know the definition? They've literally removed it. You're the one who literally removed it. You face the tiniest uphill. You're no longer getting free government money, I imagine, for doing the job. Instead, people are realizing for what you are. You hit the tiniest hill, and you said, fuck it. I'm going to punish the survivors for this. Everything you've done in response to trouble is punish the survivors. That's what you've done the entire time. That's it. Your response to everything is punish the survivors. What's that? There are internet trolls breaking into the online groups, which I fucking doubt. Punish the survivors. What's that? They're paying the $5 fee that I put up to stop trolls. The trolls are somehow getting through. Apparently the fee isn't good enough. Punish the survivors. They're trolling me online. Punish the survivors. Everything you do, all of your solutions is punish the survivors. You can take websites offline and do private messaging groups. I don't even know why you need a website in the first place. I mean, like the solutions here are fucking endless. You could have a website where you only let in survivors, and then you host it privately through all kinds of applications. But you also live in the UK, so I don't know. Your government just sucks. Signal. I mean, Discords are pretty easy to get through, but I don't know. Even Discord is commonly used to host survivor groups. I just don't know what your process is. That's what it sounds like the problem is your process. Like, do you just have have the link to the private call on the website? Like, what were you doing that trolls are getting in the first place? How are you not vetting? I don't know. I could tear this shit apart endlessly, man. Endlessly tear this apart. You're an evil woman. You don't actually put any effort into it, and I'm sure you enjoy the money flow.
Good work, guys. Really well done.
You're an evil person, and if anything, the fact that you're supposed to be the champion of the victims in itself says a lot about your country. I mean, really, that's what it is. The fact that you're up there and you're like, I'm the most evil person on the planet who charges survivors, and I have to take the website down because people don't like me. And there's no replacement? Yeah, that says a lot about what's going on within your country, to be honest. You're an evil piece of shit. People saw you for what you were. It's not, you're, like, it's funny that you keep doubling down, tripling down, quadrupling down. Here's some. Okay, so this person has done some research. I was just kind of reading it, but I'll play it. I'll watch the video. You've also stated yourself that these so-called attacks even started that your website was not so secure. There, your own words. Website has been running for almost a year, so these are your failings to protect survivors' information. Hard agree. Like I just can't imagine the system you have in place. It's got to be It's got to be terrible. Are you front on the front end? Are you hosting the names of the survivors? Why would you even further? $5 barriers, you put it, would never protect them with the location groups you wanted to put them in. Very true. Guys, person said that. On top of all this, the manipulation pressure you applied at your so-called retreat has also been recorded by me and will also be passed on with the breaches of security and data protection laws you've committed. Not only that, your conduct in public office will also be highlighted to Shropshire Council. Stop blaming others for your own failures and your compliance and governance to protect the very people you say you are here to support. You did this, no one else. I hard agree. This person is a fucking dog shit person. I have also noticed there's no privacy policy. It's not registered with ICO. Two big red flags. It is basically it signs up a scam website is what it is. Every single time, every single fucking time, man. Every single time. Like, it's just ridiculous. So ridiculous. Dude, I really try to hold back the whole flame liberals. I really do. I feel like they're low hanging fruit, but they're also like this poisonous batch of fucking apples that have infected your food supply and are everywhere. And here they are again, man. This woman, again. I think she just loves attention. Even if I had the victims at heart, first of all, I would do a better job of setting up a system. It's not hard, really. If I had the victims at heart, and I knew that whatever I was putting out online, no matter what, even if I was in the right, was causing harm to the victims, right? Like as she says it's doing. Why would you keep posting videos drawing attention to yourself, which is inevitably drawing attention to individual survivors? Why would you do that? You're an evil person, man. You are the most evil. You're basically using the survivors as like human shields. That's what you're doing. Guys, stop attacking me, or I'll fucking disband the group. You know? It's the only one. Hey, you better not fucking make an ethnicity joke about me, or I'll fucking do it. I'll end the survivors group. You're a bad person. You're an evil person. You might be the most evil person on this planet. It just so happens you're at the cockroach level of power. You're an evil woman, man. You're one of the most evil persons I've ever covered on the show. Genuinely. Maybe it's just because all of your information is out there, but for a lot of the evil people we've covered, they at least know they're evil and they try and hide it. They do it on private islands, they do it on private jets, they do it on trips to Africa. You're the only person I've ever seen be so evil and also think you're right, that you're willing to do it out in the public square. That's insane. I genuinely am in shock right now. I cannot believe it. It's incredible. The levels of ego, narcissism, and evil that you are, woman. Again, every single second of hate you get is so worth it. And like, we've made mistakes on the show. I've made mistakes where, we thought somebody was involved in not so good things. We did like an episode or clip on them, and then we had to go back and be like, oh no, this person was actually good. But every single thing you post not only confirms the previous accusations, but it actually somehow manages to create new ones. You didn't have to tell us that you're terrible at doing your job so bad that you kept exposing victims to more harm. You didn't have to say that, but you did. You didn't have to tell us that you were going to punish the victims for you catching hatred. You didn't have to say that, but you did anyway. It's crazy. Why would you do that? You're not a smart person. Unfortunately, you're just evil. How unlucky. She's still posting these videos? Oh my god. And, she keeps posting, like, found this message in my inbox just now to all the people saying, oh my God, how are you still tweeting? Why have you not? Oh, well, I can't say that on air. This is how you're tweeting. You're tweeting, drawing more attention. Your tweets that draw more attention to these trolls, as you say, that want to harm survivors, as you said. That's you keep doing that. You're gonna keep doing it. Basically, what you're saying. Okay, gotcha. Yes, use them as the front line. Interesting shit. It goes right to the very heart of what the report got wrong. In the most simplest terms I can manage, county lines are organized crime networks, grooming gangs are organized crime networks. The way the report writers use the phrase county lines reveals that they do not know that grooming gangs are crime networks. What? What are you saying? They talk about it being the crime networks in the files. They talk about it a lot. What are you talking about? God, I hate her, guys. I fucking hate this woman. I don't know if I've hated a person this much. Holy shit. I don't. Oh, here it is. Here it is. Here's the crux of it already. That frankly unforgivable ignorance opens the door for them to write an entire report framing grooming gangs as an Islam problem. There it is. That's the part she didn't like. So she says it out loud. Yeah. There are many, many, many non-Islamic gangs which use the exact techniques as those described in the survivors' testimonies in the report. Had the report writers understood the phrase county lines correctly, they would not have been able to reach the conclusion that they reached in this report. Yeah, that's a lie. To be honest, my eyes can be closed. I could never have heard the report. I could not even know the UK existed, and I would know that this was happening because it's common sense. But you're such a dumb fuck. You're an evil person. You're an evil person, and naturally, like I said in the previous videos, you didn't want the report to get released because you knew that it would draw a lot of political reaction, one that you didn't like. And again, you keep framing your actions as protecting the survivors, but if that were true, then this really wouldn't matter at all. You wouldn't even care that much, to be honest with you. You'd just be like, I'm just glad that the story's getting out. Oh, God. I was gonna go earlier, but she just manages to bring out the worst in me, I guess. I don't know. Yeah. Yep. Oh, she's on a little tweeting journey. Albanians and Pakistanis together barely crack 6% of all the OC. Huh. Huh. Interesting. That's a lie. But it's also okay. Again, I don't think it matters. Alright. Yeah. It's such a quirky, funny woman. She posts on Twitter. It's just pure insanity. Oy vey, guys. Okay, I think that's gonna wrap it up for me. What a fucking ending, huh? What an ending, no? What an insane ending. I didn't have that planned. I was just kind of scrolling around. I honestly keep thinking that she'll stop tweeting and learn a lesson, but I guess she hasn't. And she keeps going. Good for her. Keep it up. Honest to God, I hope just more and more people recognize how evil you are. And this happened in the U.S. where a lot of people kind of started waking up, not because of what was in front of them, but was being said around them. And that video of her laughing at the report is like, I'm sure I'm going to go on a hopeful basis here that, they saw that, they looked at her and they were like, oh shit, bro, like I'm on the same side as this woman. That's probably a problem. That tends to be the big wake up call for a lot of people. It was with the files, the Voldemort files. It was with Charlie. It has been that way with a lot of things. It was like that with the all of the reports about the illegals killing little girls here too. Again, that stuff that tends to wake people up, and I'm sure this fucking psycho narcissist saying what she's saying and doing what she's doing is waking a lot of people up. At least that's what I'm hoping for, because she just can't help herself, man. She just can't help herself. And by the way, we read the report here on stream. I didn't go through all of it. I think I only made it through halfway. Maybe I'll finish up. But it's not all. It doesn't just say Pakistani. It just says like Asian men. It says white men are in there. it talks about the crime networks, but again, she doesn't want it to be about the grooming because she knows that that the political messaging around it is against her beliefs, is what it is. I don't know. My brain is like torn into two because I'm just, I want something to happen. I won't say what, but unfortunately, at the same time, it's like my good conscience is like, no, 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 stop, stop, stop. But these people exist. They vote. They have power. They're loud. You just have to be louder. If anyone from the UK actually wants to come on and talk about it, you are more than willing to provide the platform to what viewership I have. Not a big platform, but we do get, tens of thousands of views, and that's more than enough. If you'd like to come on and share, I would love to be able to provide that. It's another purpose of the, origin of the show is to give a voice to the voiceless. And unfortunately, in the UK, the voiceless are the victims, is what it is. And even, like she said, oh, I mean, picking their apart of their logic is so easy. I just never do it. But even in her own logic, nothing makes sense. Why is it that she's the only one who's able to provide support in a party in a country that's supposed to care so much? If the current Liberal Party cared so much, why is it that she's the only one? How does that make any sense? But again, it's because the Liberal Party in charge knows very much what's going on, and they know if it got out what was going on, people would be pissed. And so they ignore the survivors. 1 plus 1 equals 2. It's really not complicated shit. But again, unfortunately, it takes a tragedy like this for people to wake up, and it takes a devil woman leading the charge for people to look around and be like, oh, why am I on the same side as the woman who's laughing at these terrible, terrible, terrible tragedies? And even by their own logic, liberal logic doesn't make any sense. A lot of liberals looked at the report and they go, yeah, that number is too high, 250K, it's too high. But even this devil woman, even she says that that number is probably low. So again, we saw this here in America. The liberals fight with each other because they are all kind of actively denying different parts of reality. They're skewing it in different ways to match their weird fucking fetishes, mostly. Their ideologies, and it never works, and they end up tearing each other apart. But again, I'm very interested in the vibe of the UK and what you guys think. I don't really care much. Well, sorry, let me make sure this is pretty. I don't care about what the outside world's opinion is because I have my own, and I know there's way more curious about your guys. So if you're from the UK, leave a message. Let me know what you think. Let me know how you feel. Let me know what's going on. Send it privately. We've got a lot of private venues. Send me an email. Write me a letter. I don't care. I'm really curious about what you guys think. And I know we have a lot of UK viewers. You guys make up, I think, about a third or a fourth of the population of all the viewers. You're a big majority. So, I'm glad that I can share these things that can't be shared within your own country. And if you want me to tell a story or just read your opinion, or you want me to just do it privately, I can do that. I'm really curious, genuinely am, because what I know is going on. I'm not. Is just terrible, and I won't be persuaded to believe Sky News that a toddler fell from the sky into a fucking crocodile pit. All right. Next week, this is finally the end. Sorry, I know I do this a lot in the show. Next week, we'll get back to some more domestic news. There's some stuff between the U.S. and U.S. politicians and Israeli politicians that are interesting. Again, I'm never really banking on that stuff because it tends to get walked back pretty quick. They've pretended to fight before, and then it gets walked back. But either way, there's some interesting stuff with the Strait. Israel started bombing Lebanon again. They say that they won't abide by the memorandum, the truce or whatever, and then Iran said their strait was closed, and then the U.S. came out and said, actually, we're all friends again, and the strait was reopened. I don't know. Again, it's constant chaos. It's why I try to wait to kind of see as the dust settles where everything is at. But we'll cover that next week. We also have the Fauci thing. I will go through it. It's 400 files. I'll go through the important stuff. It is what it is. Even if nothing will get done, I still want to talk about it, so I'll go through that. And then there is Oliver Tree, who passed away. There's actually a lot of conspiracies around his death as to why that might have happened. So I'll go through some of those next week. And my Voldemort files list is also growing. I might have to do an exclusive episode for that one. We'll see. And who knows, maybe these files here, the UK grooming gang files, continue to grow in popularity. And, I'll come back to it. I don't know. We'll see what happens next week. Who knows what it holds? I think overall it's been a good week. I know after what we've covered, it sounds bad, but the fact that this stuff is coming to light is good. That's a good sign. It's a good sign that people are aware, are becoming more aware, that they're waking up to it. That's really good. I think it's hard for a lot of people who are already in the know because they're just like, why does it take so long? But you have to you have to honor the progress that people are making, even if it's slow. People are coming around to it. They're starting to understand. They're starting to get it. Again, I know it's frustrating if you already know, but people are waking up. It's good. And I hope positive change comes to the UK. I really do. I don't like hearing that toddlers are getting thrown into pits and that the criminal is too stupid to understand the crime and so therefore he gets released. I don't want to read that shit. Okay? I'd rather hear about their heads getting chopped off. I really would. And I'll do it with a smile. I love that shit. All right. However, I think that'll be it for me. It's been, like I said, it's been a decent week. The stuff is terrible and it's rough, but it's coming to light. It's good. It's good shit. Keep exposing them. Keep fighting. It's good shit, guys. Good shit. I will see you guys next week. I hope you have a wonderful day, morning, evening, or night. Thanks again for the support. Channel's growing a lot this week. Most growth we've seen since January, I think. And I think I'm like kind of starting to get into the like rhythm that I want the show to be at. Kind of cemented a little bit. Uh, but yeah, I don't think I'm gonna be streaming over the weekend. Or posting episodes over the weekend. It's been a fucking long week. Good week. A lot of tragedy, a lot of emotions, but it's been a long week. I don't think I will post the shorts because that's gotta do that. But I don't think I'll do any live streams unless something crazy happens. All right. Again, thanks again, guys. I will see you Monday. I hope you have a fantastic weekend, a blessed weekend, and I will see you Monday.